Hello guys, and welcome to the Hopelessly Animanic podcast. This is the first episode of the Hopelessly Animanic podcast, so I thought I'd put a disclaimer in the beginning just to help you understand a bit of what we're doing here. This is the first episode. It's titled Romantic Pilot, and things will change throughout the podcast as we change music and theme and stuff like that as we go through the podcast. So I hope you guys understand that, and maybe by the 10th episode we may have a constant flow we're comfortable with and everything like that. All right, one other thing I'd like to say, wish a happy birthday, a belated happy birthday to a friend who is probably listening to this right now, and that is a friend named Nikilia. Thank you for always supporting the Button Smashers, and I hope you had a wonderful birthday on your birthday. All right, so let's get into this, guys.
Welcome, guys. You are now part of what the am I saying? Okay, I'm so used to saying, "Hey, guys, welcome back to." Okay, so let me change this up.
Let's take second take.
Take 2 for the welcoming intro. It's gonna be awkward, guys. Get ready. Welcome to our brand new show we are introducing today called Hopelessly Animanic. And yeah, hi Q.
Hi.
Should I do this again?
No. I think the awkward silence in between of me actually trying to listen to hear if I'm hearing my neighbors really loudly, which I am, and it's killing me. I think that's kind of that's good for podcasts, and I think people like awkward. Am I right? Do people like awkward?
People like awkward, so this awkward conversation right now is perfect. It's gold.
It's beautiful. They're just sitting there being like, oh, there's awkward in here. This is just what I wanted in my podcast.
It's awkward and authentic. I love it. Give me more.
Oh my god, yes. Oh wow. So hi people, this is Q, and we are doing a podcast called Hopelessly Animanic, and it's so hopelessly animatic.
So hopelessly animatic, you guys. You're gonna love it. We're gonna have so much good content on here, and we're finally gonna get out all of our hopelessly romantic / anime fetishes, loves, whatever. Whatever you want to call it.
I don't know what it has to be like our. Basically, we're gonna vicariously live our romance through anime and manga, and we're gonna share it with you. And it's gonna be awkward, and you're gonna be like, why? But you're gonna enjoy it anyway.
It's gonna be awkward. That should totally be our tagline. It's gonna be awkward, guys. Get ready.
That could be like the intro music. It's gonna be awkward, guys. Then the music starts playing. Oh my! Honestly speaking, I think that works. I think that really does work.
Yes! Hooray for on-the-spot ideas. I love it.
Oh, we're planning this podcast as we start. This is why this episode is called Romantic Pilot, because we're just planning everything vicariously on the spot here, because this is the first time we're podcasting this podcast together. We're actually podcast veterans because we've done podcasts before. You know, like for example, I do a podcast called the Button Smashers Podcast, which is on its 90th episode, and Kiki also does a podcast. So it's Kiki. Tell the people about your podcast. So they know.
Well, my name is Kiki. I have recently more commonly been known as Kikachu, but we currently do a podcast called The Snowcast, where me and my quotation mark twin talk about all things nerdy, whether it be video games, TV shows, cosplaying, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we been doing that for a while, and we have a good time doing it. It's been kind of on the scarcity side recently, just because Twinnie's been dealing with some family issues, and I have been finishing up my college degree. So, yeah, we're gonna be pretty much relaunching that probably this week.
Yeah, you're not finishing up your college degree. You're doing splendidously awesome. I mean, you're making honor rolls and stuff. I mean, like, you know.
Yes, I guess. I mean, if you consider Dean's List awesome, I mean.
It's so beautiful. It's like the dean is like, oh yes, I must put Kiki on my list. Oh, she's so awesome. Adds to list. Yes, it's just there outlined, and it's like only you on the list. Like no one else is on the dean's list. It's like perfect.
No, it's just me, and I'm just. It is what it is. I've accepted this.
Okay, so how about we describe what this podcast is about for the people that don't know what this podcast is about and would love to know what this podcast is about? Because, I mean, they're sitting here. I mean, of course, they're going to get some awkward. We're going to get talking about anime and stuff like that and manga about our vicariousness. But, like, is there anything else we should add about it? You know, that would be, like, explanatory? I'm just making words up here because my brain is not caught up to what we're doing just yet.
That is okay. I guess we covered it pretty much, guys. So just a general summary of what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading mangas and we're going to be watching animes, more along the side of the romantic genre. But, you know, we're going to be open to all animes and mangas. So, but we're going to watch and we're going to read and we're going to talk about them. And as Q said, we're going to live our romantic fantasies and stuff through the animes and mangas that we enjoy, and we're going to share them with you guys. And at the end of the episode, we're going to talk about either the next anime or manga that we're going to read, or in today's episode's case, we're going to finish the anime and manga we began, because neither of us got to finish our shows/books for today. But, you know, we're going to get this rolling and we're going to have a great time, and we are definitely going to be open to suggestions. So if you guys want to suggest mangas or animes, please do. Send them all, because I want them all.
Send all the romantic stuff. Make sure that it's, like, super romantic and all that kind of stuff, and there's, like, a lot
is possibly cheesy and sappy and tear-jerking as possible. I want to read it. Give it to me. That sounded.
I'm not gonna kid you. Like, basically, you've just been saying a lot of things during the podcast so far. It's just like, I've just been saying, I'm in my mind. I don't know if my mind is like. I've been told by a friend yesterday that I talk about shagging a lot on BSP, which is a lie. I do not do that, and so it's like, I don't know, maybe it's because she said that to me, like, yesterday. She was like, oh, when I listen to BSP, oh, you always mention shagging. And, because I was saying that I'm so innocent. She's like, no, you're not innocent. And I'm thinking, like, my mind is not innocent, because almost everything you've said at the beginning of the podcast, my mind has, like, warped it or something. It's like, oh, God.
Well, I mean, I guess it's something that we need to be aware of. I mean, with any good romance, there's bound to be some sexual tension and sex talk. So, I mean, I guess this is something that needs to be brought to our listeners' attention, that at some point there will be sex talk. So if it's something that is not comfortable with you, I mean, with romance, it's just part of the game. So, I mean, I guess it's just something to be wary of and cautious when reading or delving into the romantic genre of any type of fiction, whether it be manga, anime, television, movies, all of it. So I guess it's not something to stray away from. It's just something to be cautious about because not everybody's comfortable with it, as we are.
Oh yeah, we're totally comfortable with this kind of stuff. I'm totally not sitting here feeling all awkward and stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's just what we do.
Oh man. So Kiki, which one do you think we should start first with? We have a manga and we have an anime, and we haven't come up like actually decided which format we want to go with. So, which one should we go first? Should we go to anime first or should we go to manga first?
I guess we could, because we were just talking about it before we started recording. I guess we can start off with the manga first, just because that's kind of where we started.
Okay, so no, the thing is that I recommended the anime to Kiki, and she recommended the manga to me. So what I guess you should do, Kiki, is explain what the manga is, and then we'll get into discussing the manga.
The first thing I want to say is it's very funny how we both kind of recommended these stories to one another because they're very similar. And I didn't realize it until I started watching the anime that we'll get to later. But when I recommended this manga, you know, I'm like, oh, it's this great story, blah, blah, blah. And then I start watching the anime and I'm like, oh my god, these are almost the same story, just... But we'll discuss that.
And we didn't know it had of Hana. It was just more
know.
like spontaneously we were talking about manga, and then it just so happened that she recommended one. And I was like, oh, you need to watch my favorite anime, and it just basically happened that way. And it was like when I read the first chapter in the manga, it was just like, holy shit, this is the same thing.
It was the same thing for me. I was cracking up. So, like, the first episode of the anime, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's almost the same thing. I can't believe it. Great minds alike.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's just the plot is just the same. It's just different character names and stuff like that, but it's really much the same thing.
Okay, so the manga that we are reading currently is called Hana Kimi, and that translates to For You in Full Blossom, and it is by the artist known as Hisaya Nakajo, and I apologize for my terrible pronunciation, I'm not the best, but Hisaya Nakajo is the artist and the writer, I guess, of this, and the general premise of the story is there is a girl who she's Japanese, and she was living in America, and she found this Japanese jump star or high jump star, and she was so captivated by this guy that she dressed up as a boy to go to this school that is with him because he goes to an all-boys school. So she had to dress up as a boy so she could meet him. So now she's kind of stuck in this triangle here because one of her friends there is convinced he's gay for her, but really he's, she's a girl, so he's not really gay, but it's funny watching him struggle with this. And she is, in love with the high jump guy, so it's like this unknowing love triangle, and it gets crazy, and all these characters get involved, and it's a wonderful story, and it's cheesy, but it's beautiful because of its cheesiness, which makes me love it.
That's why I love it too. I like the cheesiness. I like how there's just so much, there's a weird tension between them, and I really have to say, like, Sano, his character, he's so cool, quiet, kind of composed about how he moves and he does stuff around her. Like, he has this sort of older brother sort of vibe about him. Like, he pats her in the head and he pokes her, in a sort of like distant sort of way. But then he does like her in another sort of way, and it's like, this is rather interesting.
It is. I love their relationship. Like, I love the blonde one is who we call him because he bleached his hair, but he's the one struggling with his sexuality because he thinks he's going gay because he likes her so much, but what he doesn't know is that she's actually a she. But that's Nikotsu. And I love his relationship with her, but I also love Sano's relationship with her because Sano is so gentle with her, but at the same time, like, he can't be, like, gentle in a, you're a girl kind of way. He has to be gentle while, little brother-esque, like, they have like
so cute.
I know, like the dynamic between her and Sano and then her and Nikatsu is so great because like it's two completely different type of relationships, but they're handled so well, and they both care for her so much, and it's wonderful.
And listen, the nice thing about it too is that their relationship with each other doesn't really seem to clash, at least as far as where I am at in the manga, because Nikatsu's like Sano when something is going on, and like Sano's taking care of Mizuki. Like sometimes like there's this chapter where something is going on and they get to school, and I think someone is what was going on, I believe there's something going on with Mizuki, and there was a guy taking pictures of her.
Yeah.
And Sano's gonna deal with the situation, and then out of nowhere Nikatsu comes in, and Nikatsu is like, he's there, and then Sano just basically tells him, he's like, oh, by the way, this guy's taking pictures of Mizuki. And he goes crazy and he just grabs the guy. I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I love that part. That's one of my favorite parts. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so funny because they almost kind of bounce off of one another. Like, we both care about her.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you said, he's taking pictures of her, and he just goes ballistic, and he like just going crazy and all this stuff. So they just have a great dynamic, and it's great. But I did compose some questions for you, Q, and they are questions that do, they don't go too far in the story because we haven't finished it. We're gonna finish it. So I'll ask you the questions, and you just tell me your honest answers, okay?
Okay, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. All right, so we already kind of covered it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So what is your initial reaction to Hana Kimi?
Okay, so my initial reaction at first things first, I will say that Hana Kimi's art style were not recommended by you. I probably would have passed it because of the art style, because of the fact that even though it's a romantic manga and the art style expresses that, the art style that the manga has is one that I've overlooked a lot of manga in this art style. And strangely enough, I have a lot of favorite manga that have this similar art style. It's just that normally when I'm picking manga, I tend to try to go for art styles that are of a specific type of look, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to like give an example of a manga that has an art style that is the general art style I look for when I'm looking for manga, it would have to be something along the lines of, let's say one that's general that most people know. I would say an art style similar to something like Naruto. You see how the Naruto art style is just like, it's a popular looking art style. I think that's kind of the art style I look for. Granted, we're not talking about Naruto. And so first when you recommended to me, I looked at the art style. I was like, oh, okay, let's see if I like this one. But that's the thing. I mean, that's just face value, and because I'd only seen the cover actually. Because when you recommended it to me, we were Google searching and stuff like that, and I saw the cover on my phone. I'm like, okay. And then when I started reading, the cover is not exactly the same as the actual art style of the manga itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the lines are a lot awesome and a lot more, it's a lot cuter in the manga. And that's the next thing too. Like when you look at the cover, everyone looks like the characters look like older sort of realistic look. And then when you get into it, they get all chibi and stuff, and they get adorable, and you get Mizuki's face warping into this little cute, adorable thing, and it's just so cute and adorable. So for me, my initial reaction was, okay, I'm not too sure I'm gonna like this, but Kiki's recommended it to me, so let me try it. And then after reading the first chapter, I was like, holy crap, Kiki is awesome, and this is awesome, and I'm like, I like this a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm glad. So you actually covered my next question, which was, what did you think of the artwork throughout the for at least from what you've read? Because as any artist, your artwork progresses the more you do it and everything. So my from what you've seen so far, you kind of covered it, but if there's anything else you want to say, what was your thoughts towards the artwork and everything?
Well, I guess as I said before, it's something that I wasn't sure I would like at first, and then after I loved it, because it was just, the cover had a look, but then the artwork inside the manga is completely, it's like, it's completely different. It's just so it's so much more. It switches, and I actually like romantic manga that have that art style that is the characters don't stay one look, like they don't have that one particular look. And I think that's a nice thing about anime as well, is that in manga, is that most of the times they don't have that one particular look. For example, if you watch like Teen Titans, and you know how like they're like all super cool looking, and then when they're like messing around and stuff, you see like little animated stuff happen, and their faces warp and they become weird, and it's funny, and I like that. I like weird and funny stuff. So yeah, Hana Kimi's art style is beautiful. I love it.
Good. I'm glad, because that honestly, this artist, in the beginning it was hard to get into her art style, because all the characters kind of, in the beginning, I'm gonna say they all kind of blended together, with the exception of like the color of their hair. So for me in the beginning, I was like, okay, I mean, like the story's there, but I'm not really feeling the characters, because like I said, you could only really tell them apart by like the color and the shape of their hair. But as the story progresses and the artist gets more comfortable in her characters, like you really start to identify, what makes, Nakatsu different from Sano other than his hair, and it becomes very delicate and very beautiful. And there's a lot of, I'm going to talk about this later, but she does a lot of short stories, and some of her short comics are so beautiful, and we'll get to that. But I've really grown to love this artist, and I kind of look for her. And other than Hana Kimi, she hasn't really made other stuff, but Hana Kimi's been a success for her, so I understand why.
Hana Kimi's amazing. It's beautiful.
It is. It is.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, so what else? What other questions do we have?
So what did you think of the overall story? And by that I mean, what about the believability? Do you have any comments on that?
Okay, so the overall story, the believability of it, I have to say, because of the fact that, the name of this podcast, Hopelessly Animatic, I love romance and I live for it, but I think romance is a lie in most cases, because of the fact that it never really works out like it is in fiction. And so, even though, like, for me, I love the manga, and I love the story and everything like that, the believability of it, I want to say that I don't believe it could happen, because of the fact that it's like, these things don't happen in real life. People just don't. Romance doesn't work out this nice and adorable and cute. It's messy and all over the place, and it's not as beautiful in some cases, in a lot of cases actually. And so it's really complicated in real life. I think when it comes to, like, a story fiction, it's like you just have a clear-cut goal, and it's not as complicated, not as convoluted. And then in real life you have a lot of complications, and it's a lot more real, obviously, because it's real life. but I guess, but with the story, I do like the story a lot too, and I think this is the kind of story that works for romantic novels, and for romance on a whole, because I think the whole point of romance in a novel, or in an anime, or in a story format in fiction, is to sell you on the romance. It's the idealistic form of romance. No one wants realistic romance. At least most people don't want realistic romance. No one wants to watch the movie about the girl who goes out and the guy breaks her heart, and then she ends up shagging her random friend, and then the guy turns out that he's stalking her house or something, and the cops arrest him, and no one wants that. And at least no one who wants a romantic movie wants that. They want, they meet each other, and it's so beautiful, and they love each other, and your heart is bleeding throughout the entire movie for all this beautiful romance through the entire manga. And that's what Hana Kimi is. Your heart is bleeding throughout, and it's cute and adorable and just amazing. Just, the characters are just so, and I keep saying the word adorable because they just are,
They are.
You just have Sano, who's like, he has an older brother sort of persona when he's with Mizuki, and that just works so well. Like, he's just so adorable with her. And then you have Nakatsu, how can I say, Nakatsu is kind of, he's like the crazy best friend, kind of, because he is crazy. The dude's like a whack job. He's all over the place. And he's so fun. Like, his character is so fun because he's crazy. Like, if you try to get rid of the crazy in him, he'd not be as fun, because he's impulsive and he does stuff and he just show up at your house. Like, something would happen, let's say, for example, there's a loud noise, he'd run to her room and stuff. It's like, okay, is anything okay? Like that kind of stuff. He's just that kind of weird kind of character. Man. And especially the fact that he's struggling with the whole thinking that he's gay thing, and he's like, I don't care, inside his head.
Yeah, there's like one panel, he's like, I don't care, if I love her, I love her, and then the next he's like, but no, I can't. It's so great.
It's so hilarious. It's great. I love the characters. I love the stories.
Yeah, it's great. So I agree with a lot of what you said. Believability wise, it is, it's very grandiose. So it's like, it kind of takes, this cute idea of, oh, this girl, she loves this guy, so she dresses as a boy so she can meet him, and it makes it absolutely adorable. So you're right, it is very unrealistic. But the biggest problem I had with it, and it's something so tiny, which, it's like, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it does to me just because I'm a screenwriter, so I'm like, okay, I gotta think of every aspect. But how does she get into this school? Like, this is an all-boys school, meaning no girls are allowed. So how does the school board actually let her in, unless her dad is super rich? And I don't know, maybe I can't, again, I haven't completed the manga either. I've only read half of it, and I don't remember if it is actually explained or not. I don't think it is. So I'm left with this question. It's like, okay, somebody has to know she's a girl. She can't, you can't just be some random exchange student and get tossed into an all-boys school, regardless of your sex. They want birth certificate and traveling and everything. It's somewhere along the line, someone has to know she's a girl. So how the hell did she get into this school?
And she can't forge it all either. That's the thing. It's not like you can say, okay, so I'm gonna make fraudulent documents of everything, and I'm gonna get into this school. It just doesn't work that way. That's not how real life works. And I guess that's, again, it goes back to the whole fiction thing. That will not happen in real life, but in a manga where it's fiction and stuff like that, oh sure, that totally happens. So yeah, that is actually true, because she is in an all-boys school, and I don't think the criteria to get into the school is like, oh, you look like a boy, okay, get into the school, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And even to the part where you got to, her brother's back and he wants to, he is not aware that it's an all-boys school, I don't think.
Oh, he is. The brother knows
he
it's
does?
an all-boys school, because that's the thing. That's when he decides he wants to take her home. When he finds out that it's an all-boys school, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna take her home. But for me, I think that's also unrealistic with the whole way he's treating the brothers, treating the situation. He has to know his sister's rooming with a guy. That's a guy that she likes. That's the next thing. She's rooming with a guy that she likes, and that's obviously. I mean, if she's rooming with a guy that she likes and he likes her, then there could be hanky-panky, and he's an older brother, and your older brother, so you're supposed to be against hanky-panky with your little sister. You're gonna be like, nope, I don't want this happening. I don't care whatever. If he's gonna do this thing to make her stay, I'm sorry. It's just not gonna work for me. She has to move out or something. I think that. Yeah.
I also felt the brother was a little unrealistic too, because I was like, first of all, who are you to judge, if she should leave or not? If her dad went through all this trouble to get her into the school, who are you to all of a sudden just be like, nope, done, taking her home?
It's the big brother.
I get that, I get the whole big brother syndrome and everything, but at the same time, it's like, your father put her here, so how are you gonna go against? You know what I mean? I guess that was my biggest thing. But
I think he's really the brother seems like he's impulsive too. He really has a sort of a little sister complex with Mizuki, because for example, when he comes and meets her at the hotel or wherever he meets her when he comes back, and he's like, oh my god, Mizuki, you cut her hair, and he picks her up, and they're in public, and he's holding her in his arms, and he's like, she's up in the air, and she's so adorable, she's so cute, and because he's holding her in his arms, he's holding her like a kid. Like, I kid you not, he's holding her like a baby. Like, his hand is scooped under her butt, and she's sitting in his arm, basically, and he's holding her like that. And there's like everyone around them just staring, like, okay, what the frack is going on here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think it's his little sister complex why he's so impulsive about her. But I still think he could be a bit more. He should try a bit more and say like, hey, no, my sister is not even. I don't even care if you do whatever that jumping thing. I'm sorry, she's not staying. She's not staying and living in the same room with you, at least, because you're a dude.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, that is one thing. So
awesome. Okay, so next question, Q. Who is your current favorite character?
Okay, now I've thought about this numerous times. I've been going back and forth in my head, and I've thought about it a lot, and I've been picking favorites. Like, for one, I want to pick one particular character, but I like so much of them. Like, I really like Mizuki because she's so adorbs. Like, her adorableness is so cute. I just like how cute she is. Like, I like that she's this cute girl who has spunk in her, like, kind of willing to go after what she wants, kind of, and I like that. And I do like Natsuki, Nakatsuki. I'm so bad with pronouncing his name. I do like him as well because he's so all over the place. Like, he's all over the place. I like Sano as well, but I have to say my favorite character is Omida, who's actually the gay doctor teacher. He's my favorite character because he's like for example, I'm just gonna pick a few things that he's done here. Like, for example, there's one part where she comes into his office and she needs help with something, and out of nowhere he just trips into like a two-piece bikini or something, and he's dancing with maracas and stuff like that. And I'm like, where did that come out of? And then he, out of nowhere, he starts putting back on a turtleneck and putting back on his clothes, and I'm like, and the thing is that he doesn't lose you know, anything to what he's doing. Like, he's continuing what he's saying during all the crazy that he's doing, and he continues it smoothly. He transitions perfectly. He's just that good a character. And actually, I was reading that and I saw him doing that crazy shit. I was on Amazon ordering a turtleneck. So yeah, I like it so much. I want a turtleneck now. So yeah, he is an over the top crazy teacher guy. And there's like one part where he's like in his office and he has a boyfriend, and his boyfriend is there, and they're kissing and stuff. And then the boyfriend's leaving, and the boyfriend's like, I hope you don't go after this little boy or whatever have you. And then it's like, he's like, no, I wouldn't do such a thing. And it's just hilarious. It's you guys need to read this stuff. I mean, sorry, he's the best character. He's all over the place. He's so flamboyant. Who's your favorite?
See, I'm kind of in that same thing. Like, I love Sano and I love Nakatsu. I mean, Sano is, out of the three, primary characters, I'd probably have to pick Sano just because I do love the quiet type, He just kind of like has this mystery around him. But I too would have to say the Doctor, just because I love how he gives like a whole new meaning to like the whole mentor thing. Yeah. Because like in your classic anime or manga or any type of fiction story for that matter, when you think about the mentor, like look at Gandalf. We'll just say Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. Like, he's very wise, and although he's powerful, he's wise, and he's always like giving like the best like bit, daddy advice and things like that. But when you look at Yamida, who's the damn doctor, he's like giving like the same advice, like helpful, like, okay, you want him, we'll go get him and do this to do it. But at the same time, he's walking around in a bikini, and he's dancing like pretty much like you said, and again, I was thinking of the same scene where he has his boyfriend in there, and even though like his boyfriend was just like all over him, you know, he is still like giving her advice, and you know, sometimes his advice isn't even the best advice, but he, you know,
he helps her all the time. Like there's the part where she needed an outfit, and I think that's in the same scene. And he says like, he's like, do you expect me to just help you everything? And he's just kind of like, he kind of brushes her off, and she's like, okay, well fine, I'll leave. And he just pulls her back. He's like, while she's talking, he's making a phone call. Like while he basically shot her down completely. He's like, she's like, she needs help, and he's like, why the hell should I keep helping you and stuff like that? It's not. And then she basically is like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm so impulsive, I shouldn't have done this, I'm really, really sorry. And she's leaving. He's already on the phone while she's saying that number, and then he's like, where are you going?
Yeah.
And he's like, my sister's bringing over clothes for you. And I'm like, dude, you're just so, he just does things, and it's awesome things.
Yeah.
He's just so good. He's such a good character, and he teases everyone. I like how he teases everyone. He teases his cousin, and he teases all the other guys at the school. Like he'll say stuff that is like, he'll be like, oh, I didn't know you became gay and stuff like that. And he's like, and he's so like, he just does things that is just, you know, he's crazy, and I love him. He's
great.
He's an awesome character.
And I just think it's hilarious that he's a gay doctor. Like that whole concept, and I'm not unfamiliar with homosexuality. Like I go to an art school, so there's a lot of people that identify with homosexuality, so it's not something that I'm against, or you know, it's just hilarious to me. He is a doctor who is gay, which okay, that's fine, but then he's in an all-boys school, which I'm like, how did you get into an all-boys school?
And you're a gay doctor. It's like he purposely planned that to just be able to, like, you know, oh my god, so perverted. He's doing stuff to the boys at the school. I just thought about it there. Oh yeah, my gosh.
Like, he could be, and they don't even know. Or like they come in like, oh doctor, my tummy hurts. He's like,
take off all your clothes.
Take off all your clothes. Let's take off.
It's like someone comes to like, my pinky, it's hurting. I got stuck with a needle, and he's like, okay, take all your clothes off. Yes, that's what you need to do. Just take it all off. It's just a pinky.
Why do I need to take? Doctor, it's just my pinky. Why do I need to take my pants off? Because I said so. I need to give you a thorough examination to make sure you don't have poisoning or anything. It's like, okay.
Oh my god, yes, that is exactly what it is. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's totally what it is. It's so god.
So true.
Okay. Wow. You see, this is what I'm talking about. You're opening my mind up to all sorts of messed up things.
You're welcome. You know, I'm a terrible influence. It's okay. I've accepted this. I've moved on from it. Shall we?
It's beautiful. Don't worry. Let's move on.
Alright, so my final question for you, Q, is how do you think the story will progress, or where do you think the story will go?
Okay. Now, I'm going based on Ouran High School Host Club. I'm just going based on other romance as well. And this is where I am at right now. I think she's gonna stay. Now the thing is that most of the time with romantic manga, the person is pursuing throughout the entire manga is probably not the person that they end up with. And that's the thing that is a very practical thing. Most of the time it just happens that way. But because of the style of Hana Kimi, I think she is gonna end up with Sano. No matter, I think there's gonna be points in time where it's gonna be like she's leaning to other characters, but she's always gonna just find her way back to Sano. So I think that's how it's gonna go. I think Mizuki's just gonna end up with Sano. I think that's the thing. I think they're gonna have points where she's probably gonna leave the apartment, their room, the dorm, or whatever have you. I think they're gonna probably have a huge falling out, and she's gonna leave, and then she's gonna come back, or maybe they're gonna meet back up, or whatever have you. And I think it's probably gonna even progress far past their school years, like it's starting off while they're in school, and I think it's gonna progress to them not being in school together anymore, maybe in adult life or whatever have you. Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna progress too, but who knows? But as far as I'm concerned, I think it's gonna be. I think pretty soon too. I think what's his name? the flamboyant one who's crazy and thinks he's gay for her,
Nikatsu.
I think Nikatsu's gonna find out. I think he's gonna find out not too soon. I don't want him to find out too soon because I love how he's like fighting the urges in his head of if he's gay. But I think he's gonna find out because it seems like a lot of other characters are figuring it out. Like they're not saying anything, but it's like things are happening. And they're like, it's like, you know, in Ouran High School Host Club when like when they all was in a, you know, when they were all figuring out that, you know, the main character, one of the main characters was a girl, and it was like one by one they were finding out. I think in a similar fashion, I think they're just finding out, but they're not saying anything. I think it's a silent understanding that she is a girl, but they're not gonna say anything about it. But yeah, I think that's the thing, you know, especially like with Sano, he found out, he had proof. I mean, he walked in on her in the shower, so he was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and he actually felt her little boobies too when he was holding her. He's like, oh shit, she has tits.
Oh my god. I would lie if I was Sano, I'd be like, yes, best roommate ever. And just like, yep, this is what I'm talking about. And Sano is he's a drunk kisser, so like when he gets drunk, he kisses people. And there's actually one part in it where I'm reading, and he kisses her, and it's like, because he's drunk, because he thinks he's gonna drink water, and he downs a whole glass of whatever they're drinking, alcohol, and he just basically turns to her, and you know, he basically, she's sitting against a wall, like she's propped against a wall, and he just comes over her and he kisses her, and she's like staring at him, and she's like, and then she punches him in the eye, and you know, she runs off and runs through the whole of the building screaming, and he passes out, and the next day he wakes up and they're like trying to figure out like what happened, like why. And it turns out that that Katsu thinks that he and Sano were kissing like Sano kissed him, because you know, something's wrong with his lips, but it's actually something he was eating. So yeah, it's just so hilarious as how it all unfolds in like one after. It's like basically what do you call this thing? It's like a butterfly effect, you know, one crazy thing into another. It's just all happening together. And it's her first kiss too, and she always goes to the dog and sits with him and tells him about the stuff, you know. She's like, oh, it's her first kiss and he took it, and it's like, and she's all over the place, and she doesn't know how she could be around him anymore. And the thing about Sano that I like about him too is that every time something goes on with her, with Mizuki, he knows about it. Like, he would come and silently listen to a conversation, which he's kind of stalkerish, but he'd come and he'd listen to her talking to the dog, and he'll know exactly what's wrong, and he just won't say anything. He'll just keep it to himself. He'll let her feel comfortable about it and let it go on. But really and truly, he knows everything. He knows she's a girl. He knows she likes him. He knows all these things, and he just kind of keeps it to himself. But internally, he's also struggling with his own emotions with regards to her, because, you know, sometimes he's sitting there and he's like, oh my god, she's so cute, and he's like, oh, I wonder if I should tell her that I know. But I don't think so. Whatever's wrong and all that kind of stuff. And he's struggling with his own internal struggles for her, for his emotions towards her, you know. But it's nice. I like that. I like the fact that he's also struggling, but he stays the whole strong, silent type with it all the way.
See, that's why I admire him so much, because like he knows all of this, but at the same time he's like, you know, I'm gonna let her tell me when she wants, and then I think it's gonna be awesome. Like at the end of it, you know, he's just gonna be like, I knew, and she'll be like, what? Why didn't you say anything? He's like, well, I wanted you to tell me, and it'll be awesome, and it's gonna be sweet and cute, and
I always knew. I always knew you were a girl.
And I always knew you loved me. And she'll be like, oh my god,
we love each other, and it's gonna be perfect, and it's gonna have roses and stuff. It's gonna be beautiful. That's how romance works, guys. This is how it really happens, yeah?
Yep, this is how it should happen anyway, right?
I mean, like, if all romance was like that, I mean, like, what would we? We'd just have perfect lives. We'd all just get up in the morning and be like, we love each other, and it just works. And it would just be perfect.
And it just works.
And it just works. You just get up and she's like, you know, you just like, I think, honestly speaking, I just get a little real life into this. I think a lot of times, if human beings are a lot more. I think if we were a lot more, not just romantic, but also like if we were unable to lie to each other. I mean, lying does add a bit of mystery, and it does make things interesting. And I don't mean like lying, like telling a tall tale to someone that you care about that is bad. I mean like, not basically putting everything out there and day one. Basically keeping a little mystery in between. It's nice, especially for relationships. It's really nice. But I think in some cases, a lot of cases it would be nice if people were just like open with their emotions and stuff like that. And like someone just comes in and say, "Hey, I really like you," and the other person is like, "Yeah, I really like you too," and it just works. I think that is just and it happens in manga. I mean, it happens over a course of a few chapters, and you get a lot of in other stuff going on in between, but you don't have that in real life. A lot of times it's like it's just so fictional and so unrealistic. Like I know a lot of people who struggle with things in their relationships. I've struggled with stuff in relationships, and a lot of times it's just simple misunderstanding. Like you have simple things that you just don't like. You just don't know how you're gonna tell this person. Like for me, honestly speaking, it is a lot of times like I may have someone that I like, and I'm like, I wonder if I should tell them I like them. This is gonna make things weird. I'm not. I'm just not gonna say anything. And it's just like that. Like these kind of like I was telling Kiki before that every time I get in a relationship, out of nowhere, some random friend is gonna come and say, "Howdy, Q, I really like you." And it's in most cases and not it's someone who I like, and but I just said maybe this is not going to work because of our relationship we have right now, or our friendship. And then it turns out that that's not the case after I get in a relationship. And I think that's the thing, like in manga you don't really have that as often when romantic manga, but in real life it's like we could learn from our manga. We could learn a bit.
We could. Yeah. That's a good quote. We should tag that as well. We could learn from our manga.
We could learn from our manga. That's beautiful. Oh, right? I love it.
Yep. So that's 2 taglines from our first episode. This is going great.
This is going perfect. I have to say I'm still feeling awkward, but it's going perfect.
It's okay. That's okay. It's gonna get awkward. We knew this. We knew this was gonna happen. Oh, so man. We're okay. Okay. But yeah, that's all the questions I had for you, Q. You answered all of them. So yeah.
Okay, great. That was beautiful. Oh my God, listeners, you're hearing a lot of noise in the background. I do apologize for that. It is about 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago, and my neighbors happen to not have inside voices. If you listen to the Button Smashers podcast, you of course know this, and they're very loud, and some of it may end up in the podcast. We do apologize. Hopefully I can find a way to avoid this on another occasion. Maybe I get a laptop next time and go to another room and do this. But yes, more or less, we've reached the midpoint of our podcast. And so let's take a short break, and we'll continue on with the second half after this. Remember, if you wish to, to make sure that you don't miss any of these episodes of this podcast, make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast app is available. The podcast is not yet on iTunes yet because this is our first recording, and so the first episode may not be available on iTunes. But trust me, after the first episode, it's going to be on iTunes. So, because it takes a while for iTunes to credit your podcast, and we can't submit the podcast until we have at least 1 episode. So, once it's on it, you can subscribe and make sure you follow it so that you don't miss any of the beautiful episodes of
Hopelessly Animanic. Sorry about that voice crack. Oh my God.
Karaoke episode. There must be a karaoke episode in between somewhere. Where we're doing it.
How will we do a karaoke episode?
Kiki, don't worry about the logistics. We'll find some way to make this work. It will just work that way. It will be a karaoke episode, and people will know, and they will understand the karaoke-ness of the karaoke, and we will find a way to make it work. Don't worry about it. And because of the fact that this is so spontaneously, and I happen to have spontaneously put you into spontaneousness in between on our break, we are back to the podcast, listeners. We're back with the hopelessly animanic spontaneousness. And so this is all a part of my greater plan that I did not plan, because I didn't plan oh my god, I'm so bad with this. I'm trying. No, I'm not good. I'm failing here. I feel like my words are all broken and wrong, and I'm not sure how this is gonna work, and the people are judging me. They're all like, damn you, Q, why are you so... You've been podcasting for 90 episodes of a podcast, and you're getting everything wrong. It's like, yes, I know, right? It's just like I'm a horrible person.
It's okay. You're just getting caught up in the romance. It's all good.
Oh, I'm good.
We'll excuse you this time, I promise.
Right now, I'm like Nakatsu. I'm struggling with my emotions inside. It's just like because you can't read my emotions on the page. It's just all coming out of my voice. You're hearing it all. That's exactly what it is. Like, ooh, that'd actually be pretty cool though. If you could hear someone, arguing with themselves on the inside, and you're just like, ooh, mind reading powers. We need that. That is a thing. I want
that
mind reading
is definitely
powers.
a thing.
That's gonna be awesome. Ooh, that'd actually make relationships so much easier. I could get to know every chick that likes me. I just sit there and be like, oh, you like me, don't you? Okay. And you want me to approach you in this fashion. I should come with a rose, with chocolates. Okay, that sounds good. And I'll come with rose and chocolates, and it will work. It would just work. Okay, let's get out of that, and let's get into the second half of actually what we're talking about. And so we're talking about Ouran High School Host Club. This is the anime that I suggested to Kiki, and so I'm gonna just elaborate as to what Ouran High School Host Club is. Ouran High School Host Club is awesome. That's it. Nothing else to explain. I'm sorry. I can't. Ouran High School Host Club is very similar to Hana Kimi.
I was gonna say, tell us how it's similar to Hana Kimi.
It's because of the fact that the main character of Ouran High School Host Club, whose name is Haruhi Fujioka, and Haruhi is a girl, and Haruhi goes to a school that is not a all-boys school. It's not an all-boys school, but she goes to a school with both male and female. And what happened is that this transfer student is in the school, and trans student looks like a guy, and walks into this room to study, because the transfer student is, I'm going to use proper terms that I use in Ouran High School Host Club. This transfer student is a commoner, and so as a commoner, the commoner has earned her rights to get into the school. And so the commoner doesn't actually, the commoner has to keep commoner grades up so that the commoner can stay in the school. And so what happens is that she goes into a room where she's like, she thinks it's a library, and she goes into this library to study, and as she opens the door, you get, hello, welcome to the host club, and they're like all these guys in there being all of, like, what's the right word for it? They're like being all women eye candy like, and then as they get into the room, one of the guys, they're like, oh, this is a transfer student, and they have a way about themselves, like they're so flirtatious, because that's kind of what they do here on a host club, and so they flirt with people, they flirt with girls. And so one of the guys, the leader of the host club, he comes and he approaches said commoner, and he gets physical with the commoner, and the commoner backs away, knocking down a vase that's very expensive. And like at the beginning of it, we knew the vase was gonna get knocked down. There was an arrow pointing to it, so we knew something was gonna happen with that thing. And to pay back for the vase, they've decided, okay, she's gonna stay in their host club and work off the vase money as as a host in the host club, because they're like, we don't have your type of guy here yet, because at that point they still think it's a guy. And so they're like, you're gonna work it out. But the thing is that during that episode, I don't know if you noticed this, Kiki, but do you notice the light bulbs?
No, I don't.
Okay, you need to rewatch that episode. There's a part in the episode where every time one person figures out that Haruhi's a girl, a light bulb goes off. Like, you see a light. There's a light bulb that just lights. It comes out of nowhere. It's like a light bulb in darkness. You just see the light goes on, and at the end of it, the last light that comes on is Tamaki's light, and then it spells out. You just see a bunch of lights light up, and it spells out "girl."
Oh, I'm gonna have to rewatch this.
I didn't notice it the first time, so don't worry about it. I saw it the second time, and I'm like, holy shit, this is so funny, because you would see the first one of the hosts who figures out she's a girl, and you can probably guess who figures it out first. And you see everyone figures it out before him. Tamaki's the last to find out, and he has to see to figure it out. It's like no one else knew. Everyone else figured it out, and they're like, "Oh, it's a girl," but they say nothing. Just like Sanu does. They say nothing. They all keep it to themselves. And when Tamaki figures out, it's his expression when he figures it out, because he walks in on her changing, and he's like, "Haruhi, you're a girl?" And she's like, "Yeah," and she's so like
nonchalant.
Yeah,
she's just like, yeah.
She's like, so like it's so, and a dude just walks in on you, and she's like, yeah, and he's talking to her like, he's like, "You're supposed to scream, you're supposed to," and then she's like, "I don't really care." That's kind of how she's good about it. And he has his hand on his face, and he's blushing like hell, and he like backs out of the room, and he's like, "He's a girl," and he's in his head, he's like all over the place. That is like the best scene ever. One of the best scenes, at least for me. It's like, was that scene when he found out that she was a girl. But yes, Ouran High School Club, beautiful stuff. Alright, so Kiki, that's the basic breakdown of it. Now we get into the questions I have for you. Of course, I made sure to get tough questions because I'm a tough person, and don't take my soft, mushy, like in romance side to think that I'm not a tough person. I'm really tough and stuff like that. Ultra manly, mucho.
Well, just remember, I haven't finished the show either.
I know.
So just like you haven't been, so there might be. So I mean, one of your questions I already could tell you. I'm not sure which character you're referring to, but we'll get there. Okay.
I'll be able to. What I'll do, I'll be able to hint to the character. So if you are not there yet, you won't know who it is, and I won't spoil it for you. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the first question. Who's your favorite character and why?
So this is actually a tough one to answer because I'm stuck between two. Well, one of them is actually two characters. I think you know who I'm talking about, and the other one is. So I really like the twins, and their names are Hikaru and Kaoru.
Yes,
I can't pronounce the last
name. And Kaoru, the Hitachi brothers. They're awesome.
So I absolutely love them. Like, I think he is wonderful. Both of them are so funny. And I love how they consistently call Tamaki a pervert. Like, they call him a pervert throughout almost the entire show. And I'm like, oh my god, I love them. But I also love that they're like Nakatsu. From Hana Kimi. They're very
protective.
So like as soon as then when they were on the beach and those two guys were trying to beat up how do you pronounce her name?
Haruhi.
Okay, thank you. They just start beating up the two guys, and they're like, I thought they were gonna beat him to death, and I'm like,
I thought they couldn't even fight because they're all pretty boys. Like, to me, I was like, pretty boys can't fight. They can bloody well fight.
And they were just whooping on these two dudes, and I am just laughing, and I just think they're overall hilarious, and I just love. Like, usually when it comes to twins and, like, mangas and animes, I always think it's so annoying, like, when they always say, like, the same thing and, like, they pretty much act the same. But for some reason, I love these twins, and I think it is absolutely hilarious when they go, all pretty boy on each other. So like they'll be like holding each other's face. It's like, you're absolutely beautiful and everything about you is wonderful. And then the girls are just like, oh, they're so pretty.
It's so funny.
And they're like, it's almost like, oh my god, are they gonna kiss? Are these two brothers gonna kiss? And then they're like, no, of course they're not. And it's like, oh my god.
And they tease the girl so much. Like there's this one time where he's like, oh, he's like, Hikaru, am I gonna have to punish you again? He's like, yo, you don't tell anyone. And he's like, they're like, oh, they're adorable. They are adorable characters. They're not the most adorable characters in the show. At least for me, they're not the most adorable. There is someone else in that show that is probably not the favorite. Like everyone is awesome, but there's one of the hosts who is literally, his character is supposed to be adorable. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, the little kid.
Honey Nezuka. Honey is so cute. He is like he's an older guy who looks like a baby. Not like a baby. He looks like a kid, and he milks it. And the thing is that like he basically can be an adult. Like he can put on his whole professional persona and be this really adult guy, but more or less he's so adorable and he throws himself at the girls, and he's as old as they are. So you have this little boy rolling around in these girls' laps and stuff like that, and it's like, oh my god, he's an adult, he's an older boy, and he's just milking it, and he likes candy, and he has Usa-chan. Oh, Usa-chan, I want an Usa-chan plushie for my bed just to have it. Just to have an Usa-chan.
See, I disagree. I don't really like Honey. I don't know what I think it's because he's like over the top when it comes to like how childish he is. And like I totally get it. Like that's what he's doing to like, get these girls to like buy him and everything. And I totally understand that. But at the same time, I'm like, oh my god, dude, shut up, dude. Like your voice is just piercing into my skull. But then you have like how adorable the twins are and like how like they're beautiful, and they're cute. So I'm like, I think it's just because Honey is like over the top for me. I'm like, dude, you're like 4 foot tall. Please stop.
Oh, I like Honey. I like him. He's not my favorite character, of course, but I like Honey because because like I don't know if you've reached this episode. Have you reached the episode where they did something to Usa-chan while Honey was sleeping? Did you reach that episode?
I don't think so. The last episode I watched, they were at her dad's house.
So you haven't seen Tamaki's Teddy?
No.
Okay, good. You haven't reached what I'm talking about, so I'm not even gonna go there. But my favorite character is Tamaki. Tamaki Su is my favorite character. He's my favorite character. I'm saying it again, he's my favorite character. I really like Tamaki because of the fact that he's a total gentleman, even though he's a flirtatious pretty boy, and he knows it and he flaunts it, and he's the founder of the host club. And I really, Tamaki's the princely type because each of them have a persona. He's the prince type, and he works it. But the thing is that he's just like Sano from Hana Kimi. He's so overly he's overly protective over Haruhi. But the thing is that when he's a mixture of Sano and Nekatsu. He's like both of them in one, because he does the whole crazy, Nekatsu thing, and then sometimes he's just so subtle, like he will know certain things and he will just stay silent about it, and he'll protect her. Like the time when they met at first for the first time, when her wallet was thrown in the water after they met, and he just got down into the pool. And this was probably one of the most cliched lines in the entire thing, and it's so adorable. I love it so much. where she's fishing for her wallet in the water, and he comes in and he pulls up his pants and he starts searching for it with her, and she's like, you don't have to get in here, and he's like no, I'll help you look for it, and he's like, because they're always telling me I'm dripping with good looks, and I'm like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. But I like it a lot. But he's such a nice guy. He's such a really nice guy, but he tries to smother Harry, and it's just too hilarious when he's just being him. Okay.
Yeah, he's great. It was between the twins and him for my favorite character because of like, all of you are just so adorable. Stop it.
Yes, they're such great characters. And honestly speaking, I love all of them. Like if I didn't have to choose a favorite, I love all of them. I love every single host of the host club, and they're just so cool. I mean, if I had to pick a second favorite, I gotta pick two. Obviously, it would be Haruhi, because it has to be Haruhi and Tamaki, because of how they are together. Like Haruhi is the sort of she doesn't really care about her appearance. She doesn't really care about stuff, and she focuses on work and school, and she's just so cute with him. Like he's just like, he tries, like when he gives her sweets and stuff, like he's giving her, like, for example, when she got like really fancy stuff, and she's like, she gets all adorable and her face gets all chibi and she's so cute and enjoying it, and he's like, oh, you can have all of my candy and stuff, like you can have all of my stuff, and I'm like, oh man, and she's so cute. So yes. Ouran High School Club, guys. We've gotten to the second question, and you can tell I'm losing it. Okay, so favorite episode so far. What is your favorite episode so far?
I would have to say where, I think it's not when, yes, it is when they were at the beach and that night there's a thunderstorm.
Ooh.
So that's definitely my favorite episode so far, and it's because they kind of have this contest about who can find out, her weakness, and no one actually like legitimately wins, because like Tamaki kind of found out by accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it gave, like, this episode gave great arc for every character. For her, she understands that, appearance isn't everything. Sometimes, like, you have to be aware of, your physical limitations, regardless if you're a male or a female. So, like, she kind of comes into terms where, she can't be standoffish all the time. Sometimes you do have to let other people help you. Tamaki understands now that the type of person she's very independent, because that's how she was raised, and then, what was
Kyoya,
the guy?
Odori?
Yeah, who was like, he's tough.
He came on to her with spite. Kyoya and then when he's like, she's like, I know you're not gonna do anything.
He's like, huh, very interesting. Like, he gets in, like he is fantastic. Like, he has this great moment where you're like, this whole time he's very, like, sophisticated, and he's very, like, he's very about numbers, and then there's this split moment where he lets kind of, like,
he breaks character.
Yeah, he breaks his character, but it's like, is he doing it to make her realize, or is he actually doing it because, like, he has wants and needs too, and maybe he does actually feel for her? Like, there's so much going on. It's just like, I love it all.
It's just so that's a great episode. I love it when that's actually, I think, one of the first times you actually get to see Kyoya break character. I think it's in the show. I think Kyoya breaks character probably about twice. I think one time when they go to a mall, he breaks character again. I don't know if you've seen that episode yet. Have you?
No, not the mall one.
Okay, then I'm not even gonna elaborate on that. But he's gonna break character a second time. So you and this time when he does break character, your mind is gonna explode. But yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love when my mind explodes.
That's a good thing. That's really good. Ooh, now you're making me think. You're making me rethink my favorite episode. But I would have to say one of my favorite episodes, if not my favorite episode, would have to be. It would have to be the episode that I hinted at the beginning that I can't tell you about, so I can't actually elaborate about it. It involves Tamaki's teddy. And I think that one is one of my favorites because it's adorable and it's funny and it's hilarious and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if I had to go on not the funniness, but the fact that I love how they're hilarious, it would have to be the first episode because of the fact that that's how they find out Haruhi's a girl, and during that episode, it's just, you know, it's such a, that episode kind of encapsulates everything that Ouran High School Club is in one episode, and I think that's kind of maybe why the first episode is probably the best in my book. You know, but then there are so many great ones. There's when they met her dad, and that's actually good. They go to I like how the dad comes into the room, and Tamaki ends up in an awkward situation with Harry, and he just walks in, and he basically just walks into the room, and it's just like, bam! Tamaki's face is in a wall. It's like, literally. It's like, he walks in the room, and Tamaki happens to have slipped and is over his daughter.
Yep.
And he just walks in, and he's like, sir, I'm really sorry, and he's begging, and he's like, Harry, honey, and the dad is walking in being all like in character, and as he gets close, he just smacks Tamaki across the room into a wall, and it's just so hilarious.
So good. Yeah,
good
love that episode.
Oh man, it's really good. Okay, so this question. What do you think of Nakazawa Senpai? And I think this is the one you said you're not sure about because you're not sure if you know who Nakazawa Senpai is. Do you know who Belzemet is? Belzemet the Cursed Doll.
The first doll?
Cursed Doll. It's a hand puppet.
No. Have I not met him yet?
They haven't reached there yet? With Belzemet the Cursed Doll, there's a little cat doll with that's on someone's hand, and it's black, and a guy comes out and he wears a hood.
No, I don't think I've seen him yet.
Damn it! Oh my god, no! I wanted to see Nakazawa Senpai.
Honestly though, I think it is like the next episode because because I watched the episode with the dad, and then like, you know how Netflix will just start playing? Well, when the episode with the dad finished, I like got up and I went to start making food, and I was like, okay, well I had to like do something. I don't remember what it was. And then when I came back in, because he's blonde, isn't he?
He is.
Because I remember seeing another blonde character, and I was like, I don't want to give anything away, so I hit the button. So I think I'm like right on that episode.
You are on that episode because he is the only other blonde character that makes an appearance in the show.
Okay, then it's him.
You've gotten to the now. I can't ask you this question, but oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna ask you another question. I'm gonna come up with one on the spot here. Okay. Let's see. Come up with a question on the spot. Who do you think Haruhi's gonna end up with in the end?
I really think she's gonna end up with Tamaki.
You think Tama? Okay. So
I think so, just because like their relationship, you know, it's starting to finally develop, which is what I've been waiting for. Like they're finally like, he realizes she's a female, and it's like, it's obvious that he likes her, it's obvious, but she isn't just giving into it. She has this very like tough like persona, but she's finally starting to lighten up, and it's only with him right now, which is what I love. And I feel like she doesn't really fit with any of the other guys. Like if she were to be with any of the other guys, it would definitely be either Tamaki or the creepy one that got on top of her.
Odori, yeah. That's the same thing I believe when I was watching it the first time. It was just either Tama or Kyoya, because Kyoya is he understands her. And I think that's kind of what you can kind of say, like, okay, Kyoya understands Haruhi, and she and Kyoya, they kind of grow a bond with each other, especially in that one episode that I hinted at. You know, she gets to grow a bond with Kyoya, but you're correct, she does actually get to know and care about Tamaki more than the other guys first, because they don't explore her relationship with the other guys until a bit further into the animation, so you're not gonna get to know what the other guys think of her, like in that kind of sense, until a bit further in. But they I would say, like, to just, you know, they all like her. Probably not to the same extent as Tamaki. I mean, Tamaki's like crazy about her. Tamaki calls her. He's like, let daddy save you. let daddy protect you. He calls himself daddy. I'm like,
it's
oh
so
my
funny
god.
that he refers to himself as daddy. I'm just like, oh my god, you're hilarious.
He's so like, you've had the scene when they were playing hide and seek, right? Have you seen they were playing hide and seek? Did that one go by?
I don't think I saw it, or if I did, I don't remember. Where
Oh my god, I don't even know where I'm at now. I'm not even sure because where you are. I'm not sure which episodes come before which ones. Oh my god, there's an episode where they play hide and seek and it's so adorable.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, it's just really, really good. Okay, let's not say anymore. Let's go on to the next question. Next question is, which character did you ship? Well, this actually answers. This is the question because the character you shipped in Ouran High School Club, you're shipping Tamaki with Haruhi. So that's kind of the answer to that question. Okay, so would you recommend Ouran High School Club to our listeners?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it because even if you're not into the whole romance thing, you can definitely be into the comedy of this anime. It's hilarious. If romance isn't your thing, okay, fine. But the comedy in this anime is fantastic. Like how they, the twins are by far the funniest character in my opinion. Like the way they interact with Tamaki and call him a pervert and everything. Oh my god, I love it. And they're so funny. I honestly could watch the entire show just for the twins.
Don't worry, trust me, there's an episode completely dedicated to them that you're gonna love. I'm just picturing it in my head, and I'm picturing you watching this episode and being like, oh my god. There's actually about 2 episodes completely dedicated to them that are just really, really great. Ooh, there's something I was curious about. When you saw the scene where then I know you had to see this one because this is like in the first episode where they sent her to get coffee and they were like, Tamaki said, well, go get coffee. He called her little piglet, I think. He was saying, come on little piglet, go get some coffee. And he was sending her out for coffee. I think at that point in time he didn't know she was a girl yet. And he sent her out for coffee and she came back with instant coffee. And they were like, what is this stuff? He's like, she's like, it's instant coffee. And they were like, and Tamaki stopped. They were like, oh my god, wow. And Tamaki's like, I will drink this instant coffee. And he does a whole pose. And he's like, he's gonna drink the commonest coffee. I think that's what he called it. And everyone starts clapping. I'm like, ooh. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, seriously? And then he called.
No, I love how they call her a commoner and like I will dare to drink this commoner's coffee because it means so much to Haruhi, and I'm like, oh my god.
It's just so bad. Or when they go to visit her house and they all show up by the house and they're like, oh my god, we thought, because it's all because he thought she was poor and dying and her house was horrible. And he's so like, that is all Tamaki. He's so spontaneous about crazy shit. Like he just calls Kyoya and says, hey, let's go to Haruhi's house. And they show up and the Hitachi brothers are like, oh my god, Haruhi's house is so big. Yeah. And the neighbors are like, rich people. And I'm like, you people, no. I'm just laughing at it, like, through this entire thing. And then this old lady walks up and Tamaki, he flirts with her. He's like, oh ma'am, and he holds her hand and he does the whole pretty boy thing that he does in the host club. And the old lady's like, oh, I'll bring over some snacks for you guys later. And I'm like, this is so hilarious. Oh, like, and then Haruhi comes. She just walks up to them and she's like, go home. She's like, what are you doing here? Go home. And they're like, but Haruhi, go home. Oh my god. Oh, I could watch Ouran High School, but I think, and to be honest, Kiki, I've rewatched Ouran High School probably about 10 times, which is why I can quote shit from it. I've rewatched that anime so many times.
Well, I can't wait to finish it because from what I've seen so far, I really, really enjoy it. It's very... It's entertaining, to say the least. I couldn't find the right word, but entertaining is definitely what captures it. It's great.
Oh.
It's so great.
It is. It's just such a good anime. I love that it's just so hilarious and so it's funny. It's so romantical in its own way, and it's just great. It's a good anime, and I of course recommend it to you. Of course, I mean I'm the one who's watched it 10 times, and I'm the one who's recommended to listeners that you guys actually do actually check out this particular anime if you haven't watched it already. If you have watched it already, then that's really great, and I hope you guys, yeah, that's awesome. I hope you watch it a second time or something because it's just really, really nice. A really nice anime. But I think we've reached the end of our romantic adventure. What do you think?
Oh my goodness, I think we did, and what a great adventure it was. It was awkward, it was romantic, it was hopelessly animanic.
Oh, I like that.
That's our new, is that our final tagline?
That's perfect. That was perfect. I am gonna write that down. Oh my god, it was awkward, it was romantic, it was hopelessly animatic. Oh my god.
Q, how awesome are we?
So awesome. Oh my god, this is so cool.
Guys, let me just explain something to you before we finally bid our farewell. So, Q and I just recently discovered that we both have a love of anime. Okay, which is great. Anime's not an uncommon thing to love. But then we realized after having a Skype conversation a week ago about some button smasher stuff that we both are hopeless romantics. And so we started talking about anime that's like romantic and all this stuff and all these great themes, and we're like, oh my goodness, wouldn't this make like a great podcast? And boom, there it is. We have a place where we could just discuss all our hopeless romantic animes that we love, and we're so excited about it because I don't have a lot of friends that I can just discuss anime with, and not just any anime, but romantic anime where I'm like, but look, he hugged her here because she was afraid. She was afraid of the dog and he hugged her, and it's like, oh,
it's so adorable.
Exactly.
It's just, and that's the next thing too. It's like I can't do the whole like I do the romantic thing on BSP when I'm talking about, because every episode on BSP I would recommend a movie, and I always recommend I always try to recommend at least a romantic movie. It's normally a movie, not anime though. And I can't really do that with a lot of the other Button Smashers editors because Zach makes fun of me all the time when he always like, he's always like, he was always talking about romantic movies and stuff, and he always makes fun of me. And so it's nice that I don't have someone who's gonna make fun of me. Of course Roger doesn't make fun of me, he's awesome, but being able to talk about it with someone is different because Roger watches a lot of action movies and cool stuff. He watches Skyly movies.
Manly, macho movies.
Yeah, macho manly. And I watch a lot of romantic stuff. I mean, if you watch my Netflix feed, it's just romantic movies, and all my manga on my tablet, most of it is romantic. And it's just like, honestly speaking, if someone didn't know that, like, for example, if I was just a writer, like I just wrote and didn't explain who I was, like I didn't say that I was a guy, I think people would think I was a girl. I think they'd be like, oh, this is a girl. Yep. No questions about it. This is a girl. If I had no pictures online, I just wrote articles and I just didn't do podcasts and stuff, and you couldn't hear my voice, you'd probably think I was a girl. Just judging from the stuff that I genuinely like. I like. But
I think it's good. I think it's good that you are okay talking about that stuff, and I think because I feel like in our society, people are so afraid to be more in touch with like their romantic side that when they're presented with it, they're like, "Ooh, no, I'm a man. I like cars, and I like guns, and I like this," and it's like, well, that's great and all because I like that stuff too, but I do like a good sappy romance where I'm just like, oh my god, just kiss her already. Just kiss her.
I know, right? Like that is like especially the fact the whole sappy like just kiss already. That happens so many times when I'm watching something. I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? Just kiss.
Just kiss.
Just do it.
I'm like, did you ever see that meme where like it's a stick figure and he's holding two dolls and he's like trying to put them together?
Mhm.
That is like the story of my life.
That is exactly it.
That picture is my life because I think about like the animes and the TV shows I watch, and I'm like, I'll have my two characters, and I'm like, just kiss, just do it already.
Come
like,
together. Like when I was reading Hana Kimi and they kissed, I was just like, yes.
Right?
And that happened last night, actually. Was it last night? No, that was night before when that happened. And I was like, yes, I did a little fist bump in bed. And I was like,
right?
This is awesome. They kissed.
Or like, there's that episode where, or not that episode, the chapter, I can't remember where it's at, but it's right towards the end of it. And, he's holding her because, like, she falls or something, I can't remember, and, like, he leans down because he wants to kiss her, but then he doesn't. And you're just like, do it! But then he doesn't. I love it.
Need to do it. It's just that way. And like Kiki says, it's not that, like, for me, I do have I'm comfortable expressing my adorableness-ishness. I don't know what you want to call it whatever you want. I'm comfortable expressing that side of me. I mean, I grew up with females, so to me it's not a problem, showing my interest in things that are, I guess predominantly considered female things in society, things that are more feminine, and I don't have a problem with it because I mean I just feel I'm comfortable in my masculinity. I am a guy, and I know that, and I'm comfortable about that. Like, for example, I watch sports. I shout at when my favorite team is winning, and I'm totally alpha male. And I like girls, and I'm really flirtatious when I'm out and about, and I like to think I'm really good with ladies, so I get around. I not get around that, but I'm like, if you met me in person, with me not being me here on the podcast and stuff like that, you'd probably think different stuff. Like, one friend described me as a ball. She says I bounce all over the place and I'm so energetic. So there's that. She says I'm all bouncy. And the thing is that what I like to tell people is that there's always a time and a place for everything. So people that know me in different settings know me differently. So, like, had Kiki and I not had a conversation, she probably would not have known this side of me. And
exactly.
And that's because, like, the way in which we related to each other before was completely different. So there was no way really, unless of course I said something or did something that would have led on to that, she wouldn't have had an idea that I was into romantic stuff. And for me, I didn't have an idea that she was into romantic stuff either, because my whole opinion of you before was like, oh, this is a female's act. And
and I pretty much am. It's just I like being gushy sometimes. I can't help it.
And that's how it is. That's just how it is. I mean, sometimes you just are, and sometimes you just aren't. And it's just, you gotta know when to be a certain way and when not to be a certain way. And that's it. Knowing the time and the place for everything. That's the whole thing. But listeners, we could go on and on forever chatting, but the podcast would be forever long, and we can't have that. So we're gonna end the podcast now. And if you want some more Hopelessly Animanic, you know where to find us. You can find us on the website thebuttonsmashers.com, where you can find articles, reviews, other podcasts, and all kind of beautiful stuff from Kiki, myself, and all the other Button Smashers editors. So go on over, head over, show us some romantic love in the website.
And remember, guys, be awkward, be romantic, be hopelessly animanic.